This is my first time doing a YouTube video. Like, I've posted a vlog in the past, but I took that one down. But this is my first time doing a proper Q&A, so I hope it's interesting for you. And I'm hoping you'll keep following along on YouTube. This is a new platform for me, and I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if you can tell, but hopefully this is fun. So I did a few Q&A questions on my Instagram, and I thought I would just go ahead and answer some of them now. So, some weird ones. A lot of declarations of love and marriage proposals. Cool. Nice to know I have options. Someone told me I'm a cheater. I'm not sure what I cheated at. Maybe I'm fast. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, let's get to an actual question. Someone asked, have I always been this hot? Well, I did grow up in South Africa and it's quite warm there, so it was hot a lot of the time. If anything, I'm a bit colder now. How old am I? I am 27. My birthday is in October. If it's relevant to anyone, I'm a Libra. I don't know what that means. I just get a lot of nods. That makes sense. Okay, cool. I hope that's a good thing. Where am I from? I'm from Cape Town, South Africa. I started life out on a chicken farm for the first 5 years, and really funny that my reel that went completely viral with now over 80 million views is a headless chicken where you have to tap to put the head on the chicken. So yeah, that's quite, what do they call it? A full circle moment. And then I lived somewhere called Greyton in South Africa for the next maybe 7 years, and that's like in the farmlands where most of my friends lived on farms, and we would cycle around and get up to mischief without parents watching us. It was a great childhood. And then I moved back to the city in Cape Town, where I actually studied law, and yeah, as you can see, I'm not doing that right now. My favorite piece of art, that's an interesting one. I'm still yet to get to the level where I'm like buying other artists' work. I really want to get there, but I'm always moving country. I've lived in Cape Town and all around the Western Cape in South Africa. I've lived in London, I've lived in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and now Amsterdam. And I kind of like still want to live in different places, so it doesn't make too much sense investing in, things that I want to keep forever. It's quite nice being quite mobile. I don't own a lot of things, and anything I do own, I'm very happy to part with, except my teddy. But everything else is pretty, what's the word? Disposable. A lot of the answers to these questions are chicken pictures. Favorite piece of art, this is very hard for me. Is it a little tongue-in-cheek to say Monet water lilies? Is that too like mainstream? It's just, it does something calming to my mind. That whole series, the colors are like my favorite colors. The gestural work is just stunning. I know it's not quite like mine's maybe a bit more literal and linear, like uses line work, which Monet doesn't. But yeah, just obsessed. Really need to go to the Orangerie in Paris. I haven't been. I've seen a couple Monets and a couple of the Water Lily series, but I haven't been to the Orangerie, so that is on the list. And please don't come for me for my pronunciation. I tried. Someone asked, a life hack that changed your life. Hold on, I'm gonna get coffee. Coffee acquired. Something my dad always used to say to me was like, just fucking do it. We swear in this house. Just do the thing, like stop being so scared. I'm always quite nervous to start new things in case I think this is a very universal experience, in case I do it wrong or I embarrass myself. So I never really heeded his advice because I was like, well, I'm still going to be embarrassed and there's nothing worse than being embarrassed. But then there was a moment, I feel like it was last year, where I realized you're only embarrassed as far as you allow yourself to be, and like, so what if it's cringe? So what if it's embarrassing? I'm not sure that anyone told me this, but I started to unpack, like, why did I have this fear around getting started and doing the thing? And it went back to, I'd be like, what would someone in Cape Town say? What would like that one girl who bullied me in my like middle school say? Like, would she be like sniggering like she used to snigger when someone's shouting outside? How she used to snigger when I packed something weird for lunch. Like, oh fuck her, honestly. What's she doing with her life now? I like, that realization hit, that like, if anyone is, you know, saying, gossiping and saying, oh, it's so embarrassing, Sarah started posting on Instagram, she started sharing her work, she quit her job in London, so what? Like, that really, like, it's none of my business, but also like probably comes from a place of them not doing what they want to be doing. I know, like, whenever I think, and it doesn't happen very often, but if I think a negative thought about another person, and like, let's say a woman, I often realize it's like an internalized misogyny, where I'm like, oh, why am I so bothered by her? Why was I so bothered by that? And often I'm like, it's because I want to be doing what she's doing, you know? And I think, yeah, you just kind of have to be self-aware and realize none of this really matters. And so what if it's embarrassing? Then what? Like, no one got fired from a job for being embarrassing. No one hurt anyone by being embarrassing. If anything, it's fucking hilarious. When someone's embarrassing, I appreciate the shit out of it. And when they own that embarrassment, I'm just like, fuck yes, girl. The way I'd sum it up is, so what if it's embarrassing? So what if it's cringe? Lean into the cringe, lean into the embarrassing, because that is when my life changed. Someone asked how many DMs have I received, and the answer is thousands. Most of them with screenshots of chicken heads. If you've DM'd me and it was for something serious, like an art commission or a question, please email me. Please don't email me any more chicken heads. How do I see myself in the near future? I don't know about the near future, but I think it's no secret that this is what I want to be doing forever if I can. And I'm working towards a place where I can make this a bit more sustainable. So last year I was full-time doing art, and that was kind of by chance and accident. I quit my job in London, and I was kind of starting to look at what I might do next, but I'd saved up money so that I could have some breathing time to figure that out. And in the meantime, I started painting and started posting it, and it started doing well, and strangers started messaging me asking to buy my art, and I realized I could live off of this. So for the rest of the year, I supported myself completely financially through art. And then I got a job offer in the Netherlands, and I was like, fuck it, this is the time to do this. Like, if I go into self-employment, I won't be able to get a mortgage. I won't be able to go traveling and have financial freedom that I can have in like a day job. So I am doing that for now while I lay the foundations with my art. Yeah, of course. So in the future, I will be doing art full-time again in a much more financially sustainable way. I want to be working with brands. I want to be having my art up in galleries. It's not something I ever actually imagined was possible before, but I've now attempted much larger works, like you can see behind me, and I feel like those could do well in gallery format, as well as my tiny little doodles. I really want to write a book, a novel, as well as non-fiction, but like nothing too serious, but more with my little doodles and musings on life that you can like literally have next to your toilet while you take a crap. That would be great. That's how I see myself in the near future. Okay. What is the best art you think you ever made? Okay, I'm going to actually superimpose that in this video. I don't know where the space is, but let's say it's like here. But I actually have a lot of eye issues. In 2012, I think it was, I had my first eye surgery because I had retinal detachment, and I went mostly blind permanently in my left eye. Not that like you know, when people are really dramatic and they're like, I'm so blind, and people are like, oh, you can get LASIK surgery. No, I'm actually blind. In my left eye, I have maybe, if I'm lucky, 25% vision. I pretty much don't use it. My depth perception is non-existent. My legs are just full of bruises, especially on the left side. I do walk into door frames a lot. I had that surgery, and then the next year I had retinal detachment in my right eye, so I had to have surgery there, and I had to wear an eye patch in my right eye, so I was left with, for about a month, also 25% vision in my left eye. And it was really hard and scary because there was a risk that the vision in my right eye would not return or be okay, and I had no way of knowing until the eye patch was removed. So one day I was like in tears, and I was thinking, you know, this is it, I'm gonna go blind. And I thought, you know what, Sarah, let's see if I could live with this 25% vision. So I got up and I started painting, and I didn't let myself like rest, as like painful as it was and as hard as it was. And I think I was like crying while I was painting it, and I didn't let myself stop until I was finished. And I will put that up here. But I think I'm most proud of that because I could have just stopped and given up. After that, it was really hard to read and study, and I'd always been a really avid reader, so I could no longer like find my place in a book. I'd read like the same line again and again and again. And when I wrote exams, they had to print them on like A3, A2 pages and give me an extra desk so I could turn the page. It's definitely had an impact on my life, and I don't think I give that enough recognition. What gets you going on days you're least inspired? I think just remembering that like you're not always going to feel like this, because I think it's easy to get in the trap where you're like, oh my god, it's gone, I'm never gonna feel inspired again, this is it. But I think I just remind myself, you have to have the days of low inspiration to have the days of high inspiration. You can't just always be at the top, and it's the same with like highs and lows in life. Like things only feel so good if things get so bad. Maybe that's like a fucked up way of looking at it, but what I do is on days that I am inspired, I like put notes in my notes app on my phone, and then on days where I'm not inspired, I just go through my notes app and I'm like, cool, I need to create something. So I'll just like go into the notes app, read what I've written, and like create art based on that. Then I can like lean on my inspiration-ful days in my non-inspiration days, if that English makes sense. What's an unexpected learning in creating this platform? Unexpected is that it's grown to this level. We're now at almost 100,000 people, which is crazy. Thank you for being here. I started this account off in 2020 during lockdown, but it was private, and only my friends on my private Instagram followed it, and I post every now and then like a little painting, and I wasn't trying to do anything with it. That kind of went dormant for the next few years, and then last year, 2023, in April, I started posting again after I quit my job, and I grew the account. My first reel went viral in July or August, and that was, maybe I'll put a painting here, that was Hotel de Russie in Rome that I did on commission for actually a very good family friend. I gained a few followers, but I actually, by the end of 2023, I had 3,000. And I started in January with like 3,000 something, and now we're here. It is 1st of June. Hey! And we're at almost 100k. So that's really unexpected. That I think, you know, obviously there's an ego boost from gaining followers and attention, but I think it's also just this realization that, oh my gosh, people like my work, I have something to say, people want to listen, people enjoy it, I'm relatable. My experiences are not just mine, but everyone else is going through life experiencing the same things, and I think that makes me feel so much less alone, and it makes me feel like we're really like living the same lives, and I find that reassuring, and I think some people could find that quite like uninspired, like, well, what's the point if we're all living the same life? But I think it's kind of beautiful that there's some kind of a thread running through all of us. Did you learn to draw or paint as an adult, or have you always been making art? I painted as a kid a lot. I really liked it. I was really obsessed with painting flowers and roses. I went through a couple childhood obsessions. One was dolphins. I can't seem to find any of the drawings I did of dolphins, but they were quite funny. I would like do like pink hair coming out of the blowhole because I was also obsessed with pink and I wanted to have pink hair myself. So dolphins plus pink hair, put two and two together, you know? Yeah, I've been painting since I was young, and it's something my family noticed and encouraged. And there was an artist in my small village that I grew up in. She was called Nan, and she was actually from Holland, so maybe another full circle moment. And she would teach me a lot about like the technical details around art, like this is how you paint perspective, this is how you make sure you're paying attention to the dimensions. How did I find my art style? I don't know, years and years of painting, but there was one painting I did in lockdown of a grocery store, because I'd go on these really long walks that were like 20, like half marathons basically, because you weren't allowed to use public transport in the pandemic in London, and I was there on my own. I just moved, I didn't have too many friends, and all my friends I did have were in the south and I was in the north. So I'd go on these really long walks to Hyde Park to meet them for a socially distanced picnic, and I would take pictures of like stores and things that I saw on the way, and I started to really appreciate mundane things that maybe people don't normally notice, and I take so much beauty from the mundane. And I think that really, COVID was a period that really forced me to stop and look and find that beauty in small things, because you know, you no longer had travel, you no longer had parties, you no longer had like big groups of people gathering, performances, shows. So it kind of forced that, and it went from there. I think that's really where I found my voice. I think I spent a lot of my life thinking, God, when will I ever know what feels natural to me? When will I ever like feel like I belong doing something? I'd watch people like have that clear path where like it was just so obvious to everyone around them, to them, that they should be doing this, and I never felt that way. And I think when I started to paint the beauty in the mundane, that's when it, light bulb, it all clicked. A lot of people asking for my number. No. You can ask my family and friends. I already don't reply to their messages. I am inundated. Yesterday I was considering finding out if I can somehow do an automatic reply on WhatsApp because it is so stressful to me. I like actually go through like once a fortnight, I put my phone on flight mode like a fucking psychopath, and I go and reply in like one sitting to all the messages, all the voice notes and everything, and then put it off flight mode and leave my phone and go do something. Is your art drawn from pain or inspiration? I guess both. I think I'm inspired by pain and some, yeah, I feel like, is it not universal that we all feel most inspired when we've gone through some pain? Who is my celebrity crush? Ooh. I'm not sure if I have one. If it's going to be someone, it's not going to be a man. It would probably be like a woman, like Rachel Weisz, Angelina Jolie. What do you do when you have a great idea and you're too lazy to draw? If I have a great idea and I'm too lazy to draw, I put it in my notes app. You should see my notes app. Maybe I should read a few notes. Don't steal any of these ideas. Tap hold to get eyes on the Mona Lisa. So that's a reel that I'm planning. That will be like a little vector animation. When is the right time to put hand cream on? Always need to pee or touch my phone. That was quite funny. I don't remember writing that, but that's really funny. But it's so true. You like, when is the right time? You put like hand cream on because you're like, oh, my hands are so dry, you know, and then you're like, well fuck, now I need to send a message and like your screen's all fucking slimy. Who is one of your favorite brands? Ooh, I really love fashion, very into clothes. I love Ganni. It's probably not a huge surprise and not super original, but if I could like work with Ganni, it would be amazing. I have the ballet flats, which are my favorite shoes that I own. Your accent is amazing. Where do you come from originally, and does it influence my art? As I said, I'm from Cape Town, but it's funny, all my life in Cape Town people have been like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from here. My grandmother, who's my favorite person in the world, she is from London, Hackney, so she was born in 1932, which she is going to punch me for saying, but she is a Cockney. She was born in the sound of Bow Bells, as she says, so she has that proper Cockney accent. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like look it up. It's so, oh, maybe I can play a voice note from her. I sent her a picture of me in Portugal because she was like, send me some updates. So let's see, what did she say?
Well, looking at that beautiful photograph, I can only say you must have enjoyed it. Okay, darling. Oh, lovely to hear from you, Sarah. Yeah, I forgot you were going to Portugal. I don't know where you're going. I get mixed up.
Yeah, so you can hear it's a very different accent, and also my family calls me, and my best friends call me Sarah. So yeah, I come from Cape Town, but my nan is my best friend. She's a Cockney. I've lived in London for about 4 years. I've lived in Scotland, and now I live in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. So apparently my accent has changed a little bit. I don't feel it has, and I'm very bad at accents, so I promise I'm not putting it on. I feel like some people, they'll move to London for like 3 months and then suddenly they're like, hello friends, and I'm just like, dude, calm down, you're literally from Joburg, like calm the fuck down. A girl from Joburg. How does this song go? I just want to see that this is recording, because this would suck if it's not. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. How does that song go? Wait. Fun fact, I've never been to Joburg except the airport. That's how Cape Town I am. Never had a pretty girl from Joburg.
That's a girl from Joburg to me now, and that's what they prefer. Don't touch my wheel, cause I got a chauffeur.
What is a specific goal or dream that you have right now? To go full-time art again and attend cool events and that are to do with art, and just be immersed with other artist friends and people who are creating, and just be inspired and just keep doing this. I'm obsessed. There's nothing that's ever felt so right. What keeps you going? I love drawing and writing, but life always finds a way to sidetrack my hobby. I would say honestly, I think actually it's a blessing and a curse that my art has done so well on social media, because I am penalized if I don't post every day. So I literally feel like I need to post every day, which means I need to create all the time, which has forced me into a habit of creating art. And I'm very bad at habits because there's like no incentive to keep them. I'm very hardworking and diligent, so if I need to do something, I will. And this has created that incentive. It's like, you need to do this to be successful. But other areas of my life, like being consistent with like a healthy diet and going to the gym and going for runs and that kind of thing, terrible. Going to sleep at the same time every night, terrible. Sleep hygiene, terrible. Like my hygiene's good, okay, but sleep hygiene, that's like no phone 2 hours before bed, no blue light, no whatever, bad. The social media element has changed the game for me. How do you decide when a piece is finished? I don't know, I think it's like a sixth sense with artists. You kind of just know. Obviously when I'm painting from like a reference, like this picture here, it's clear when it's done, but like the one behind me, it's more abstract and it all just came from my head. So there's no like clear way to know when it's done. It's just like a feeling. And like even with this, I finished it and then like I put it up and I was like, okay, no, this red needs a little bit more definition. So I like actually stood on my bed and went into it with a little bit more red. What is a risk of having an art business? Well, a lot of people copy. There's that quote where it's like, bad artist copies, a great artist steals. So it's like, if you're taking inspiration from another artist, like just fucking own it and go with it and make it your own. Don't fucking copy. But a lot of people copy. I've had a lot of people literally just screenshot and repost or reshare reels, which is really like not cool. So I like actually DM them and I'm like, please take this down. And then usually they do, or I actually have to report it on Instagram. And I hate that. I will start being diligent with watermarks going forward because I've not been doing that. Have you done any partnerships with other businesses and artists? I've done some reels with other artists, which is really fun, and I'm always down for more. And I haven't done partnerships with businesses. I have worked with different clients on like paid projects. I haven't actually done a paid partnership. I would be very down for that if anyone's watching. That's a fucking dream. How cool would that be? What have you been doing to take care of yourself since your massive follower increase? I don't know. I try to limit time on Instagram and like all socials. I dedicate certain periods of time to replying, and I don't reply as soon as I get a message because otherwise I would just be on my phone all the time. So just kind of setting boundaries there. What's something you really want to draw but haven't yet? Amsterdam. I still haven't drawn a canal or like some typical Dutch buildings, so I really want to do that. I feel so inspired in the city, and that's a project I want to do. Maybe like something similar to this, but of an Amsterdam canal and like the little gingerbread houses. Last question, how do you manage social media next to a full-time job, and how do you come up with ideas? As I said, notes app, I have a lot of ideas there. I relate from real life, a lot of text message conversations with friends, and yeah, managing the social media, it's just kind of a habit now. Like I make sure I post 2 reels a week and I fill the rest of the week with like just a post, and I don't reply on demand to messages, and I think that is really important. Yeah, and not take like the hate comments and weird creepy DMs to heart. Like people who say some really shocking things, because I think they don't realize that I'm a person and they have the safety behind their like blank username and screen. But I just try to not take it seriously because I know I would never say that to someone, and I know in real life I would never want to be friends with someone who would type such terrible things behind a keyboard. So that helps. Although like sometimes, you know, if I've had a shit day and then someone says something awful, that can kind of sting a bit, but I'm getting better at it. Anyway, I think that's all for now, but maybe I'll record another one if this inspires any more questions. Yeah, thanks so much for watching.